As the mid-year of 2022 approaches, a new wave of Valorant talent prepares to take the scene by storm, and this is where the story begins. Welcome to the commentator desk. I'm Datum, here with the amazing Honey Glaze. This is the first installment of VCT APAC Game Changers Academy. Honey Glaze mentioned, this is Man, we can't be excited. This is the VCT APAC Game Changers Academy. We cannot be more excited to be here. But for those of you who are not aware, Honeyglaze and I, we are from the VCT Game Changers Mentorship Program, an ongoing mentorship program for talents across the Asia Pacific. And we are for the English broadcast, being mentored by the one and only Black and Blue. But like she was talking about, Honeyglaze, please continue about the format of this upcoming
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, let's talk about the format. For all of the viewers right now, we are going forward in this academy with a Swiss format in which we have here on our round one. The teams are totally randomized. From round two onwards, we will regroup them.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you. Especially considering that our prize pool, right? It is not based on the teams; it's based on the individual players. The ones with the most wins throughout the entirety of this tournament will take the lump sum basically of the $500 prize pool, and it's gonna start like we mentioned today with the first map, which is going to be Ascent, and it's gonna be a challenge here, Honey Glaze, because all of our teams in round number one, they're gonna be mixed up, right? All of the
Mhm.
players, they don't particularly know how their teammates or even their enemies are going to play together, which is gonna bring up, I would say, a massive challenge, a massive undertaking for them going into this tournament. And well, it is like you mentioned, plat three and below, right? So we
Mhm.
might be in it for some unpredictableness, so to speak.
We're hoping for the comments to be nice and our license since again we have, as Dada mentioned, is plat 3 and below, so the players don't have the tournament skills to begin with, and this is the probably the time for them to showcase every bit of they can so that they can even have the game sense and stuff to go and to have their tournament experience here in VCT Game Changers.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, rank plat three, and it's not a joke to get to, right? I mean, we both play Valorant, you and I, Hana Glaze, and just getting to platinum is not the easiest feat, to say the least. And
Yeah.
as you mentioned, this is just the perfect avenue for them to showcase just that. And even though a lot of our teams, we expect them to not have the most tournament experience, this is a huge start for them. It is Game Changers APAC. So it is the first installment of Game Changers APAC
Mm-hmm.
Academy, but hey, it's a massive opportunity to say the least. And the first two teams who will be bouting it out in this broadcast are going to be teams 11 versus 12. So those who two teams are going to be bouting it out in Ascent, and well, we're gonna be heading straight into it in just a few minutes, guys. But what do you think about Ascent here, Honey Glaze?
Well, in the map of Ascent, we have your close ranges and close fights. It all boils down to the fact on how you utilize the mid area, in which this is the probably the vulnerable side of the map, in which we can also say that there can be the backline or the backline potential of the attacking team to eliminate in and penetrate through a sites, especially when they have the aggressiveness and they have enough confidence to go in for our games.
Yeah, Ascent. I mean, APAC loves Ascent, right? This is a map that is well, not just APAC, the entirety of the Valorant community, I would say, loves Ascent because Ascent's been around forever. It's basically like the classic map in Valorant, so to speak. It's a map where defaults are pretty heavy, and we all know how defense heavy Ascent could be. But as you mentioned, taking control of mid is such an essential part of the attacking side, essentially, to take control of those sites. And that's basically how I would say it is going to be the key for our attackers, or for defenders, for everyone for that matter, going into this first round. Now the thing is, Hassan, as I mentioned, it's a very defense heavy map, and very default heavy at that, which is why I am super excited to see what the agent compositions are going to be for both of our teams today, Honey Days.
Yes, I think we are heading towards into our draft in which we need to see here enough agents that have utilities to even counter out that mid control given to the attacking side. At the moment, we're just waiting in for what our players will be going ahead into our agent selection. In the map of Ascent, the mostly part of or the most agents that I am expecting here is the Sentinels, in which we all know for a fact that Killjoy is a better pick here in the map.
Well, that's an arguable statement right there. At some point, it's a personal preference, but at another, well, a lot of our teams here or a lot of competitive teams in general, it boils down to how they play off each other, right? A lot of
Mhm.
pro players do love a cipher because of, well, just how easy you could rotate across the
Mm,
map and leave your toys at one side or the other. But the Killjoy, as you mentioned, is pretty good in Ascent too because of the fact that Ascent is not really the biggest map in the game. It's actually pretty small, one
exactly.
of the smallest ones, which is why as Killjoy could leave her toys in perhaps A site or B site and then position herself up so she could reinforce that mid control. But we're gonna have to wait and see because, as we mentioned earlier, this is a plat 3 and below ranks for the players, so we can see absolutely everything here. And we're gonna be starting off with the agent select screen. So let's get right into it, Honey Blaze.
And now we're hovering into the most of the agents here for Team 12, which is the Brim and also the Killjoy. Yes, we have here the possible retakes that might happen for the side of Team 12 once the swapping of the sides connects and once the swapping of the sides starts. But now we are seeing them securing in the jet immediately into this map since we all know how viable a jet is once we start rushing into the sites, and there will be always the follow-up using in the blinds, using the smokes, and especially the timing between the teams and the players to have their synergized rush inside the site.
Absolutely, and the
Select your
changes to the
agent.
recent controllers means that we might not be seeing an Astra here. In fact, we will not, as both of our teams
Mm,
opting for the revamped or buffed up controllers. That's Omen and Brimstone. I gotta say, I love that we are
oh,
seeing a Brimstone and a Reyna on the attacking
exactly.
side right now. Reyna not particularly the go-to anymore. A lot of our teams in the competitive scene are slowly shifting back into the Rays meta. Part of it is because, well, Astra got a massive nerf, which means that the gravity wells are just not present
Hmm.
anymore in a lot of these games. But also because a lot of our teams are slowly realizing the potential of the Rays utility once more. A lot of
Mm,
angles can be cleared up with the boom bots, the paint shells, but the Reyna, well, it just brings something that a Rays just cannot in a game, and that's the
mm,
confidence. When you have a Reyna on your team, you can
exactly.
bet that that's gonna be a confident player, and ergo, a confident team.
Yeah, exactly. I know for a fact that we have so much utility for Irina to have enough confidence to get inside the site. Imagine the sustainability of this woman, of
Hmm.
this lady right here, to just rush in and rely on the teammates on whatever quarters that she won't be holding on to. So now, in this kind of setup, I think the attacking team will be stacking up into A, rushing into A, but unfortunately for them, they will be facing an hindrance. That will be the Killjoy's utilities. And look at that setup. We have the alarm bots and also the swarm grenades already set up here in Switch. So this is going to be problematic for them.
Yeah, Cloud Burst will be there trying to block their
Oh,
vision, but it's only a hit legs. First to fall prey in this
I
round.
hit
Mill is good for
legs.
two already. Beautiful things all across the board. The only trade to come through is actually from the turret, but post plant commences 2-on-4. Last two remaining members for Team
Last
12 here
player
to go for the
standing.
retake, but Millis is just mowing them all down. He will be
Ooh,
good
wall
for
of mana.
one, but that's about it. And 1-0 is the scoreline. Team
Out of
11, a
charges.
decisive pistol round for them.
Imagine the immediate rush given to us by Team 11 to just get their domination and their impact for the first round of this game. We all know for a fact that Reina is one not that viable pick anymore, but we just gotta acknowledge and
Oh yeah.
respect the utility of the Lear. There's the blind, there's also the opportunity of her just giving a lot of assistance to our jet player, to our
Don't
jet role,
overthink it.
that to
That's
get
my
inside
point.
the side, dash in confidently since it's the statement of the Reina that says that I got your back.
Yep.
I'll lean towards into the corners that you
Yeah.
won't be holding on to.
Yeah, I gotta commend the Millis as well. Picking up the 3K, one think a piece, absolutely massive on that jet. But this time, seems like A hit is the area of concession once more for Team 11 as they leer it up. But they're going for the quick bait and switch, quick change strats already. As Atheris picks up Lindsay, opening up mid. That might give him the clue here, but they're pushing up mid right here. Market is already up and open. B site has been left wide, so this is
Oh.
potentially an easy push right here. Millis with the Bulldog, the only assault rifle in the game,
Oh.
picks up Cryptic, looking for more, and it's actually Asterisk to pick up that Sova. I only hit legs again, good for a singular trade before going back down. But another 2v4 here, Honeyglaze, and without the firepower for Team 12.
Yeah, I think
Spike
the
planted.
buff for I only hit legs is just too much for them to be sorry about how
Player
aggressive they are to
standing.
get inside the sides to go in for the full on pick offs up against them. But unfortunately, it's down 2 to 0 to three members remaining from Team 11.
Yeah.
So this is good. At least they were able to eliminate the economic advantage from 2 players from their team, so they can have the edge into the next one. Since we will be leaning towards of them securing in their specters, half an armors. I think we have a Ray Vandal from the defending side.
Ooh, a bit of a hero buy coming through, along with Millis, who of course is still holding on to that Bulldog that he did pick up in the last that they did pick up in the last round. Sorry. And now they're making a lot of noise in A site once more. They seem undeterred, Team 11, by this Killjoy setup here in A site. But again, it's the early rotation from Team 12 that's always gotten the better of them. But this time it might prove to be fruitful as they do give away the site. Now going in, Althea Zeus looking to make some damage before the plant commences, but doesn't find anything out of it. It's Vincer simply does pick up the first frag. I only hit legs, once more falls. And that's one Vandal out of the way. Can Vinceres get this upgrade? Seems like not for now, but Asterisk and Pingadero, they're making a lot of noise and they're doing a lot of damage, leaving Sova all alone in this bout. Only the Spectre means that they will not pick up anything at all as the Flawless 2 commence Team 11. What a good 3 rounds from them already.
Very unfortunate for Team 12 to disperse immediately from the retake. They were able to use their utilities very wisely before going into the site to deny in the plant, to deny in the rush of the members from Team 11. And this gives so much confidence to Team 11 that once the smokes are already placed in, they will be going into the sites. There's the Lear
Pick them
images
off.
dash coming from Jet, and this is going to be the end from Team 11. And will that happen though? Since we have the eco advantage from Team 11, the members from Team 12 will be leaning towards onto the recon, onto just their vandals, and even with the shadows at hand, up against the attacking side.
Locked out committed already. There's barely any guns against them, so they're gonna be committing to this B-side rush. As Sova's the first to fall prey, and just off of that singular kill, they've already gotten the plants off. But remember, this is just the eco. Lindsay from
Spike
flank
planted.
will get spotted out, which means that this is gonna be a huge undertaking. And Estrella will just shut it all down. Althea from Market doesn't get anything out of that
Last player
position.
standing.
And it's now down to the last remaining member, Cryptic. And off of the eco, they pick up just one member, but at least they did get one. So that's they'll walk away off of that one. But Team 12 finally will, of course, gonna get their guns. Let's see if they can bounce back from this, Honeyglaze.
They need and they want to bounce back into this kind of deficit. It's already 0 to 4
Yeah.
into our first half in the making, and this gives a lot of impact. We already saw and witnessed the eco round from the defending team, so now they need to utilize it wisely when it comes to using in their utilities and even their rifles. And now at the very moment they will be blinded in by Lindsay. Dadom, this is kind of hard from our defending team to at least not give up the side, since they have been dominated truly by our attackers.
Yeah, Team 11, they're just rushing and rushing, and then this round seems to be no different as Millis once more good for the SP. Pingarero picks up only hit legs once more, and Millis again, there's no trade to come through. 2 versus 5 now, another post-plant situation here, Honeyglaze. And I think the name of the game right now for Team 12 is to change up strategies, but it's Atheris
enemy
gonna shut
remaining.
down Lindsay. Gonna leave just Alethea once more all alone on a 1 versus 5, and over again, it's just a rush for Team 11. Maybe a change of pace here is due for Team 12. Maybe this time they could opt to not give sight anymore, right? They could just go for the post plant
Mm-mm.
because they have a lot of aggressive utility anyway. They got the double duelist, they got the Omen as
Mm-mm.
well, and they've got a fair bit of information on the Sova. So maybe what they could do right now is give away sight and then go for the post plant because that's a strategy that
Mm-mm.
honestly they haven't opted for before. And at this point, they might as well could try.
With the retake, with the possible retakes, it can happen that they can reverse in the tides for them to use, for them to have the abilities. Unfortunately for them, I don't see any recon balls that could give. Speaking of the recon, it won't be connecting into
Oh,
A side. Very unfortunate, but still be able to get at least the information that they need. We have really album already committed into A side, and
oh,
another rush that will be happening with the dash in, but unfortunately for Cryptic, he
yeah.
was not able to connect in the shots against Vince here.
Yeah, another rush from Team 11. Another quick side take, but this time it's traded out by Team 12. So it's a very different change of pace in the sense that it's a 4 versus 4 in the post plant, not a position that Team 11 has found themselves yet in. So this might be the change of tides that Team 12 is looking for. They're finally taking things a little bit slower. I don't believe there are any ultimates available, which is why they're biding their time. And Althea, good for the first touch on this post plant as well as first ball through. Millis, good for two though, as he picks up those double headshots. And Pink Guerrero activates that Hunter's Fury at the end of the day when the smoke is cleared. Team 11 once more emerge victorious, Honeygrace.
This is kind of hard to look at. It's already 0 to 6. We need to see the members from Team 12 to at least have enough confidence to not to have the possible retake, since yes, they have the members from Team 11 have been rushing into the site multiple times, and they're not denying the fact that they have enough aim, they have enough utility to deny and even have the impact already set up here in A side. So now they have already given it. We have your Team 12, not a member is side to side, so we just have her Lindsay using in the Marshall, and will it be favorable of her since she will be tagged in,
Yeah.
unfortunately, by the Alto.
Paranoia will be there to try and find that stoppage that they so badly need. Althea, good for one, but remember, this is again another eco for Team 12. Their bank is just not there anymore. Meanwhile, for Team 11, they've been winning rounds and rounds in a row in Cryptic. At least we'll be able to find Millis for now. It's still an equal game, so this actually is quite dangerous right now for Team 11. Remember, there's a huge firepower deficit for Team 12, but they're making it work. Hell, they're making it so good. And Cryptic, again,
Okay.
good for one more. Gonna leave Vincer Simp all alone. Good for the 3k though, so it's a 1 versus 1 between the Reynas, but still a Vandal on one and Cryptic just the Spectre, and all he gotta do is defuse, and the clutch still in the way of Vincerus. But that's a lot of damage, and Team 11, 7-0 on the board, but Team 12, they're slowly finding their footing there. This could very well be the game-changing round right here, because that was pretty scary right there. Despite not having a lot of firepower, Team 12 almost made the retake happen. So maybe on Blaze this time, because we gotta remember here, right? This tournament is a Swiss format, right? But it's not based on the kills. It's based on the wins. So whoever wins this is gonna have a huge advantage going to this next one. But 7-0, man. 12,
Yeah.
round 12's got a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah, and compared to the last few rounds, we have our debate though before I continue in further. That was a good usage of utility, going in for the aim diff all the way from mid, and now we have the smokes. Millis though won't be even holding a notch just to get inside mid area as we hold on to the lockdown already committed here in
Cryptic looking to hold the line here, and so far she
Vince.
does as he picks up Atheres. But that's about it. The only single kill to go the way of Team 12. 8-0 is the scoreline, and as long as Team 12 picks up the next 3 or 4 rounds, they have a chance going into the next one. But with how their economy is shaping up to be, it's so hard to see that happening. Let's see what they're going to change up, because the last time they almost won a round was on the eco, of course. So Team 12, it's the time is ripe for them to try some new strategies right now on the defense. Perhaps they could be a little bit more aggressive. Perhaps they could push up on either side of the map. Maybe push up B main where the members of Team 11 aren't. But currently they don't have that liberty of knowing that information, rather, as a lot of noise actually being made down in A main. Still have yet to commit to the site though, so Team 11, they're biding their time, which paves the way for Team 12 to actually go for this
Oh,
lurk down in mid. And now Sova is getting pummeled up. Thankfully, we'll be able to use the Sky Smoke to back on off for now, as the plan finally coming through. 5 on 5 on the retake, so we're gonna have equal
oh
footing.
no!
No, Estrella picks up Sova just with that Molly. And just when I was about to say it was a 5 versus 5, it turns it into 5 on 4. And Australia just getting ready with that ultimate.
Last player
They just
standing.
really know for a fact how to utilize their utilities very wisely. They have been going in for the control every time that we have the Sogo drone already committed inside the side, tagging onto one, and the immediate dash from the jet just goes in fully inside the side, committing it fully together with Vincer Sim with the possible takes onto the members from the defending team. And now this is a good hold, especially from Team 11, that they haven't lost a fight. They haven't lost anyone yet in their team, and they have enough economy. The problem is from Team 11 is that they have been going for the force buy, especially on round 4. They should have equaled for a bit before they go into another buys, and this is a good and good fortunate defense for our attacking team. Team 12 will still be in a defeat since we still have here the immediate touch and the dominance, which means Vincer Sim.
Oh, Vincer Sim, speaking of the woman herself, opens up sight. Again, taking care of that Sova. It's another 5 on 4 here. Man deficit for Team 12 as they try to regain control of this round. But so far, they're taking things very slowly, which I like, but Cryptic doesn't have a lot of help going in her way. Lindsay, at least good for one as well. Atheris will be actually nullifying all that advantage, as leaves Althea all alone in a 1v4. Just a Marshall and just a dream at that. 10-0 is the scoreline. And it's been such a dominating game for Team 11. 10-0, and I believe it's another eco for Team 12. So I'm racking my brain here, Honeyglaze, on what they can do, because honestly, the rushes, it's just so much to deal with from Team 11.
I gotta agree with you with that. It's just full on commitment with the utilities, and they haven't been. There hasn't been a second here where I don't
Time
see
for a field
Millis, or
test.
there was a round that she was able to control in mid, and they were able to at least appease and annoy the mindset here from the side of Team 12 to how to even deny and the capabilities here from the side of Team 11 to just go in. But now with the utilities being thrown out, there's the Lear. We have here the entry coming to you by Millis, and unfortunately for Althea, I think this is going to be the end of her. Millis just goes in, no hesitation at all. Now we're down to a 4v5.
Yeah, another post plant commences.
Spike planted.
I only hit legs now on the flank. Not spotted out, no, but she shoots the turret, not knowing Estrella is right behind her. So that's gonna signal the doom for only the hit legs. And now it's just the cleanup crew with Millis ending that round massively with the 4K. But again, that's just another
Last
eco
round
in
in the
their
half.
pockets right there. It's the last round in the half now, but fortunately for Team 12, they will be having that firepower that they so direly need to prevent match point from happening. So let's see. Perhaps they can turn this around right now. Honeyglaze, operator in the hands of I only hit legs. Alethea on the Odin as well, and 3 huge ults to work with. On top of the lockdown is the Empress and the Blades, so perhaps.
Perhaps we can see here the changing of the tide, changing of momentum. But
Here we go.
unfortunately for Vincer Sim, he won't be alive to survive from that shot. Give it to us by I only hit legs. But unfortunately for our defending team, we still have here the lockdown already available for them to come first. We have here Lindsay waiting into just the corner of the smoke. But will
Spike
it be
planted.
favorable of her, since we still have here the counter lockdown already commenced by the defending team?
Here we go. Post plant with the lockdown and Cryptic picking up Atheris. Lindsay good for one as well, picking her falls. That's it. Orbital strike, beautifully positioned. Gonna pick up 3 now as Millis goes massive. Will be detained for now, but there's no info on where Millis is positioned at. So thankfully enough, we'll stay safe for now. Blades activated, but it's Sova to pick Millis up. And now, 1v2. Recon will be there to help out. The post plant defuse.
One
Estrella
enemy
is
remaining.
trying her
Oh,
best. She
down.
picks up one. So Lindsay stops with the defuse. Dim Beacon will be there. Just not enough time. Sova's got to push this up.
Oh
Just a classic to
no!
work with. It's all going to boil down to this. And Estrella doesn't get the
Oh
shots off. But the clutch will make its way through as the spike just not diffused in time. And it's match
Estrella.
point for Team 11 as we head off into the second half.
I had jitters. I became nervous
I
for the
know.
fact that Estrella missed out the few shots against the member
Oh,
defusing
look
in
at
the
this.
spike. But here we have the instant replay in which that was a 2v1 scenario, and we had a 3k clutch from Australia. Thankfully enough for him or for her, she was able to throw out the molly just in the nick of the timing to
Look.
eliminate in the chances here from the brim. And how many multiple shots was given by Estrella to at least deny and kill in that Soba Pingarero survived in for a few or for a few magazines, but unfortunately
Placing
that
swarm
is
grenade.
already our match point and the swapping of the sides. But here we have the potential of the members from the attacking team to just get in the side.
Yeah. Atheris, unchecked from logs. We'll be pushing up right here, but unfortunately didn't get anything out of that. As again, another post plant commences another quick round. This time, courtesy of Team 12 as they pick up the man advantage for now. 5 versus 4. Millis down from B main, looking to find some damage. Cryptic does pick up Vincer's Simp, so another man advantage for them as they go on to a 5-on-2. I only hit legs. Shuts down Pingarero's push, and now the post plant is crumbling from Team 11. So this is a nice change of pace, a nice confidence boost for Team 12, but they gotta
Last player
repeat this
standing.
11 times more if they want to get us into overtime. Charlotte, 17 HP and a dream will not get anything out of that frenzy. Team 12 finally on the board.
Yes, this might be the starting point
Yeah.
of the members from Team 12 to get back up, gather the momentum. As we all know, it's the momentum changer when it comes to the gun round, or rather in the pistol round. Uh, and it's that
Yes.
where we at least compose in your composure, that you have the confidence, you have full on take inside the site, get in, go in for the plants, and get even the dominance against the members from the attacking team. So now into this round, though, they will be facing in
Sending
Figuerero's
ahead.
Recon Bolt, but there will always be the aggressive push that will happen from our attacking team. But unfortunately enough for them, there will be one member tagged in by the Recon. There's already the smoke. So now the confidence is slightly giving us the hesitation that will they
Oh,
be
no.
able to go inside the side. But Menace with the shorty gets in one together with
Standing.
Vince Sears. Classic
Spike
and
down.
trade up, and now we're down to just one remaining member. I only hit
Defenders win.
legs, was able to eliminate it into, but it's already the match point and a game number 13 for the side of Team 11.
What a statement game from Team 11. 30-1 is the final scoreline here. Such a decisive game at that for Team 11 versus Team 12. I mean, man, it's just the coordination from Team 11, I would say, is just on point from the get-go. And this is just they were just setting the tempo for the entirety of it in the attacking side. Fortunately for Team 12, they were able to find their footing in round number 1 of the second half, but by then and there it was a little bit too late for them to bounce back. Just no room to work with. Perhaps it was, if it was a different scoreline going to the second half, perhaps they could have secured more rounds, but whew, 11 to 12.
Whew.
So that's the first game of this tournament, folks. I wouldn't have had it any other way here, Honey Glaze. It's such an
Mm.
explosive start to this series, and look at the scoreboard right now. Millis and Vincer Simp. Look at the KDA. Look at the combat score here.
Yeah.
462, just above and beyond for their team.
Yeah. Even though that we have your Pingarero's KDA of 639, we know for a fact that his utility has been so much,
Yeah.
or has been an hindrance as well for the, or for Team 11. It just goes to show, or rather Team 12, it just goes to show that we have here the synergized plays and even the communication between the teams, or even have the possibility that they are already in sync. We have Pingarero using in the Aldon to have enough space for Melis to go in for the dash, and Melis just goes in, rushing, dominating in the fact that we also have your Vincer Sim to check out the corners that she won't be able to check in. And it was a variable indeed. It was also commendable indeed for our Brim to use in the smokes fully and wisely to at least assist in the duelist to get inside the site and secure it for them.
Well, it's not that Ping Guerrero did not have a lot of frags because they
Mm-hmm.
performed poorly, right? It's just because,
Yeah.
well, Ping Guerrero's teammates were just popping off, getting all the kills before Ping could actually get into position to find the kills herself. And that's just a testament to how well Team 11 played this best of one. Remember, folks, it's not a best of one per se, but it's a Swiss format, which is
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of these games the adaptation has to be on point, right? And I feel like Team 11, they were just better at adapting to each other's play style, to their teammates, and getting that communication going before the game even starts, or rather before traction is found on the other side of the map, or the teams, or the game rather. And I think that's the biggest challenge here for all of our teams, right? For round number one,
Mm-hmm.
it's a mixed bag of everyone you can play with, and anyone is well, that's the thing, right? No matter how good of a player you are, if you can't establish that communication with your team, it's all going
Mm-hmm.
to crumble. And at that regard, Team 11 was just a little bit better than Team 12, and that gave us such a fruitful match, 13-1. And that's it, folks, for game number one of VCT APAC Game Changers. Stay tuned because we will be having just a short break before we head off into game number two. Again, this is me, Datum, casting here today with Honey Glaze. Thank you very much, and see you folks out there.